Hello everyone, this is Harish Vade. This is Project 2 tutorial in Software Engineering of Web-Based Systems, course number CS6320. This project deals with big data processing with Hadoop Map Reduce Framework. Here I have the table of contents, introduction, advantages of Hadoop, components of Hadoop, cluster setup, the single node Hadoop cluster setup, and lifecycle of MapReduce, how the program works in the framework, and that I have explained with the word count program, and bibliography, the references which I have used to develop this tutorial. Let's start with the history of Hadoop. Hadoop was developed by dog cutting, and next Google came up with the publications of GFS and MapReduce in 2003 and 4. Then early 2005 dog cutting added DFS and MapReduce to the node called NDFS. Then in January 2008, Hadoop was made its own top-level project at Apache, confirming its success and its diverse active community. By this time, Hadoop was being used by many other companies besides Yahoo, such as Facebook and New York Times. In 2008 early, Yahoo came up with the fastest sort of data in 3.5 minutes over 910 nodes, even in 500 GB of data in 59 seconds, and 100 terabyte of data in 173 minutes in a step-by-step manner over 300 and 400, 3,400 nodes. Hadoop providing popular distribution platforms are Amazon Web Services, Cloudera, Hortonworks, IBM, Intel, Mappa Technologies, Microsoft, Pivotal Software, and Teradata. Let's go introduction. What is big data? Big data is a collection of large data which cannot be processed with traditional techniques. Examples are social media, stock exchange, etc. And big data includes three varieties of data, which is structured, and semi-structured, and unstructured data. Hadoop framework can, by using Hadoop framework, will process the big data. What is Hadoop framework? Is nothing but it's an open source framework which is written in Java, and Hadoop framework provides both storage and process across the cluster. And what are the advantages of Hadoop? We have several advantages: scalability. It has the ability to store large data sets over the cluster, and commodity hardware. It runs on the very less expensive hardware, and which is very highly reliable. um, Parallel processing. It it runs, yeah, the job will be divided into tasks, and it runs execution will be running in parallel, and the job execution happen in very less time. It is very flexible because it runs because it stores and processes all kinds of data, and it is very fast and due to its unique storage method on distributed file system. The data is relayed on the same server, so it takes the data and it processes it very fast. It is very cost effective because Hadoop is a open source and it runs on commodity hardware, so it is very cost effective. It will take very less amount for tera when per terabyte. It is resilient to failure because its key advantage is fault tolerance. We have three copies of data in a cluster. The same data will have three replicas of it. So if we have a network failure or data node failure, still we have the access to the data. So these are the advantages of Hadoop. Next, we have components of Hadoop. We have two core components of Hadoop. One is Hadoop Distributed File System, which is HDFS, and second one is MapReduce. HDFS deals with only data storage part, and MapReduce deals with the parallel computation over the cluster. And HDFS will have three daemons. One is name node, secondary name node, and data node. MapReduce will have two daemons. One is job tracker and task tracker. Hadoop follows a master-slave architecture where the name node, secondary name node, and job trackers are the masters, and data nodes and task trackers are the slaves. See, uh, data node will have all the information about the data nodes, and the secondary and it has metadata of the data nodes and their physical locations, and which data nodes will, if we combine, the actual data file will be forming. And secondary name node will have only metadata of the name node, and when the name node fails, the secondary name node will come into the picture. and data node actual data will store on data nodes. Job tracker will take care of only parallel computations, and task trackers will run the job. These are the components we have. uh, Next, cluster setup. How to set up a single node Hadoop cluster. For that, we need a VM workstation environment setup should we have. We can download the VMware software from here in this location. And next, on top of that, we need to download Ubuntu and install it. After that, before installation of Hadoop, actually, we should have Java. We should have Java and configure SSH in Ubuntu. Java to install Java, you use the command sudo opt get install opens JDK 6 JDK. We need to use only JDK 1.6 or above versions because those are only compatible with uh, Hadoop. And next part is we need to configure the passwordless SSH by using the command opt get install OpenSSH server OpenSSH client. And we need to generate a SSH key value pair by using this command, and we need to copy that particular key file from this location to authorized keys location. And to check that whether it is configured or not, use SSH localhost command. Once you are done with the Java installation and the configuration less SSH password, then download Hadoop package from this particular archive.cloudera.com. It is a tar file actually. You need to untar it by using this tar xjdf and Hadoop this version command. Then enter into this enter into Hadoop folder by using this cd command. Okay, and we are done with the Hadoop installation. But to run to run the cluster, initially we need to set up the few configurations. First one is setup configuration. There are four important configuration files we need to set up, and these files can find in Hadoop bin/conf path. Those are Hadoop env.sh, core site.xml, Hadoop site.xml, and mapped site.xml. In Hadoop env.sh, we'll set up the environment variables, and in core-site.xml, we need to set up two parameters. One is its name because it is related to database, so fs.default.name, and the second the value is localhost 9000. In hdfs-site.xml, it is related to replication part. Usually Hadoop default configuration replication value is 3, as our setting up a single node cluster, the value I have given is 1. Next is map reduce site.xml. This section will configure information of job tracker and the port number. See, once you are done with these configurations, the first step is to starting up your Hadoop installation. Is you need to format the name node, that is by using Hadoop name node -format. Once you are done with it, you start the cluster by using start fun all.sh. Once you do this, it will come like this in the screen, and then you can check with the jps command whether the daemons if Hadoop installation is done properly. You can see all these processes. See, let us check. Here I am opening Ubuntu on VMware workstation. This is my Ubuntu where I have installed on VMware workstation. This is a terminal. Open the terminal, and we need to start it. So actually my path is here, home slash step practice start. My start hyphen all.sh file in this folder, so I am opening it. Just give ls list of files. See, you can see start all.sh, so you need to run it. So next, run the jps command so that you can see all the daemons. See, you can see the name node starting it's that name node daemon starting here. You can see the data node, secondary name, and job tracker, and task tracker. See, all the five daemons have started here. That you can check with the command jps. You can see here. Then the next step is life cycle of map reduce. See, if the data is on top of HDFS only, we can process the data. So first step is we need to get the data on top of HDFS. If you if it is from if you have data set on Windows by using WinSCP or syswin or something, you get the data on Ubuntu, and from there you can copy by using a few HDFS commands. That can happen, and these are the map reduce cycle process steps how to do that. And I will explain these steps in by using a word count program. Before that, we'll see whether we got. See here, you can see now a job tracker, task tracker, data node, name node, and secondary name node, five daemons. I will explain the processing with the sample word count program. Here, actually, in map reduce framework, we'll have three phases: mapper phase, sort and shuffle phase, and reducer phase. Mapper phase will take mapper phase operates exclusively on key value pair. Mapper accepts input as only in key value pair format, and it gives the output in the key value format. And sort and shuffle process phase will happen internally by a framework, and it gives the key and list of values output, and that output will be the input to the reducer phase, and that gives the output key comma value format. See, actually, we develop our code in Eclipse IDE in three levels, three phases. One is mapper. This is the mapper phase. You can identify with the map extends map reduce phase implements mapper, and it takes the four, and it has the four arguments. Two are for input, long writable text, and output text and int writable. Second one is then reducer. Then that output will go to certain shuffle phase, and that will happen by taken care by framework, and that output key and list of values come to the reducer logic, and reducer logic will give the output of key comma value. This actually we have one more class, we have one more phase. Driver class is responsible for triggering the mapper logic and reducer logic, and where driver class will have the input data path and out where the output has to be stored. These are the all screenshots I have given here, and let's go and run program. First, to run the program, we need to have data in HDFS. Let us check. Have Hadoop FS hyphen to see the data. We can use this command cat Hadoop. This is my directory. I have this is the sample data I have taken for the execution purpose. This is the input data I have on HDFS. See, whenever the data has on HDFS, we'll use Hadoop space FS. To deal with HDFS, we need to use that command, and I have developed a MapReduce program in Eclipse IDE. This is a mapper class I have already shown in the tutorial. We need to export. Actually, MapReduce only takes the data in jar files. For that, after developing the code, you need to export it and convert it. Click on jar and next and finish. Your jar file will be created, and that you have to uh, take on top of to Ubuntu. Uh, I have taken that jar file list of files. See what count.jar. I have exported that file here, and let's run the job. For that, we have a command called uh, Hadoop Hadoop space jar space the jar file space the class name which we have used count and input path Hadoop 32 hyphen test txt, and you can give any output path. Let's say history's directory. This is the command we can use to run the job. Enter. So the execution will start in a while. You can see the execution has been started, and we have this is the job id for this particular job, and first mapper process will start. First mapper process will complete 100%, then reducer will start, and reduce after mapper completes, that output will be taken to a certain shuffle phase. Then that output has come to reduce, then the reducer will start, and reducer will complete 100%. Actually, this is the process to complete it, and uh, output files will be created by a framework itself. Those we can see are part. If it is a mapper output, it is in the format of part m and some zeros, and if it is a reducer output, it is in the format of part r 0000 zeros. So that is the uh, format we have. See here you can see the complete code. So here it will come like this. Once the job is run, say first mapper completes 100%, and then reducer completes, and you will get all the information. The output will be created like this part 00s, and then check by Hadoop fs hyphen cat. I have given h3, and the file has been created. These are the then you can check whether what is the output. Actually, this is a simple word count program where I have the sample data, and I'm counting that how many words each occurred how many times. To develop this tutorial, I have used these references. You can see here for many references I have used, and for what this is the complete tutorial. See, this is the mapper process completes. This is the overall tutorial. Thank you.